Hi, DC. Well, it appears you are the only one at the moment. So, well, if you like, you can just, hop on the stage and we can talk. Hi, Mr. Cyan. So there are two of you. Yeah, you can raise your hands, and then yeah, you can jump on the stage and we can, well, have the chat, the three of us, if you like, or just one of you, or none of you. It's also fine. You can post questions if you like under questions in the text. Oh yeah, there you are. Sure. Let me see. Invite to speak.
Am I supposed to?
Oh,
Hi
hi.
everyone.
Oh, hello. Hi. Okay, it works. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm new here actually. Somebody invited me yesterday, and I
Ah,
just I'm still going through the challenge to know what the project is all about, and
hmm
I'm following your Twitter too. So, but I'm happy to be here, and that is one of the reasons why I joined this officer so that I can just get to know
hmm
what
Absolutely.
the yeah what we are doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then probably it will be interesting for you to listen to the office hour from last week. We had two sessions already where early last week I presented the project, and then one of our colleagues from the team, Wilder, he also covered similar topics. We try to run two office hours per week in different time zones, so then everybody can join, depending where they live. Um, but in short, to say what the project is about, if you could go scroll up on our Discord, there is a section called FAQ right under start here, so at the very top. I don't know if you can see that, and I posted a diagram or graphic illustrating what the whole ecosystem is about in a simple way. I don't know if you could find it in DC. Um, okay, because I think if you're trying to say something, then you are on mute. Um, yeah, but I hope you've managed to navigate to FAQ, and then there is this graphic. Oh, he has left the call. Oh, there he is again. So you're back, DC. Great. Yeah, you can jump jump on the stage again if you would like. Or I can also invite you to speak. There you are. Yeah, so you're back. Excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you very much. I've seen the FAQ. I'm on the channel now.
excellent.
I'm going
Yeah,
through it.
yeah. So there is this diagram, like the graphic, right, that illustrates the ecosystem.
Okay,
And
the Spark, Blaze, Ignite.
exactly, yes. So these are the names of protocols that DeFIRE is going to launch. And they'll be launched in the sequence starting from Spark, then Blaze, and last Ignite. There is a brief, a one line, two line description above what those protocols are. So Spark is a senior edge protocol, Blaze is a multi-asset containers protocol, and Ignite is self-repaying loans protocol. Spark, to some extent, functions in a similar way to other senior edge protocols. I don't know how familiar you are with senior edge protocols like Tomb Finance, for example.
I'm not so familiar with. Actually, I'm still new in the culture generally. I'm
Okay,
just learning.
yeah, okay,
But
sure.
I'm going along with your explanation.
Yeah.
I'm getting it.
Okay, sure. To keep it simple, Spark is the protocol that we would use to bootstrap, in other words, to build treasury in the ecosystem to launch the other two protocols. So Spark with com or before Spark, there will be a pre-sale of the DeFIRE token. DeFIRE, that's the central token of the entire ecosystem because it will let everybody to use it also as a governance token. So that will be used for voting, the decision making in the community. It will also function as shares in the company because as long as you hold the governance token, you will be participating in the revenue distribution that the entire ecosystem is going to generate because there will be fees in different protocols from interacting with them and so on. And those fees,
So it will be like a DAO, right?
yes, yes, absolutely. It will. I mean, the DAO. It will be a DAO. I mean, the whole the governance, and it will be structured under a DAO concept. So the community will be the DAO community, or I would say the governance token holders will be the executive. Sorry, the decision makers, right? They will be taking decisions. Do we do this? Do we do that? We vote like this or we vote like that. So then we have, yeah, so we have the decision makers, which is the holders of the governance token, and then we have the executing body, which will be structured under teams. There'll be different teams that would be executing on the decisions the community will make. So there'll be a team for engineering works. I mean, there is already a team for engineering works that is working on developing the smart contract, for instance. Then there is a team for content creation. They are providing all the Medium articles that you can find on our Medium website. There is a team for community management. So there will be the team where all different moderators and will be gathered under, right? So there'll be multiple teams, probably five, six different teams that will.
Understand how those things work. I've been part of some projects, like a
Okay,
community manager and some other projects.
okay.
So I really understand.
Yeah, excellent. So that is in simple terms how you could say the work engagements will be structured in the project. Plus, those three protocols are sort of the product, you could say, right? So we have a product that are these three protocols, and then we have um, the governance as such, which is structured under DAO. And then there is the third element to the whole project. So as I said, we have the product, which are these three protocols. We have the DAO, which is the governance, and then we have the third element, which is academy, and the academy aims at sort of supporting this division of DeFire being sort of the on-ramp or like the access point for off-chain users into the on-chain world. So we have an ambition of eventually becoming like a place where you could eventually be able to come with your credit card, um, deposit whatever you want to deposit, and then you can access the blockchain services. Um, and that also ties to probably another. I mean, we have fire in our in the name of the ecosystem, and that links to this fire movement, financial independence, retire early. So the whole sort of overarching concept or vision behind DeFi,
So
yeah, behind
I
behind
love the
this
concept.
is to basically I mean, allow people to build their wealth, to grow their wealth, and to sort of that they could be working towards this financial independence. So therefore we have the academy to try to educate and guide people towards, I mean, like a balanced investing towards hedging in terms of risk and so on to be prepared for different market conditions and so on and so forth. So is also that element, right, of the project. So yeah, so that's sort of in a very broad terms what we are. Right. Okay. There is a written question. Sure. I definitely could. Sorry, Mr. Cyan. I just saw your message now. Yep. Next time I'll be showing something on the screen, I will definitely share it. For now, just a sec. For now, I'll go back to this. Sure. Yeah, if I only knew how to share screen on this stage. Mm, hmm. Anyway, Mr. Cyan, do you have some questions I could answer? You're also welcome to join the voice chat. How can people avoid dump their token? Okay. Oh yeah, there is. I'm sorry, there is this timer in the questions. I just changed it. So there is no. There you are. Um, you can now post questions in questions. There is no timer. There is no timer now. Okay. But anyway, back to your question. Can you remind me how we can avoid people dump their token? Yes, absolutely. So now we go a little bit deeper in the discussion about different tokens. Um, so when the protocol launches, before it launches, let's start with the pre-sale. So the pre-sale will offer DeFIRE token. DeFi, as I said, will be the central token of the ecosystem. It will function as the governance token that lets you, of course, participate in the governance, vote, also lets you to claim protocol fees, revenue, and it will also let you boost or increase your rewards from Blaze protocol. Um, I will not go maybe into details how it works and what it is, but essentially, the more governance tokens you will have, the higher the boost or increase of your APR is going to be under Blaze protocol. And lastly, the governance token will also let you vote weekly. So there will be a weekly vote how rewards under Blaze protocol are distributed. So everybody with the governance token will then have a chance to say, all right, I would like 20% of the weekly DeFi rewards go to this Blaze product, 50% to that Blaze product, and 30 to a third one. Um, this way, people would be able to deploy different strategies in terms of how they vote and how they allocate their capital. And essentially, it will lead probably to something similar that we see on Curve protocol, where Curve also invites the holders of their governance token into weekly vote uh, regarding distribution of weekly rewards, and so that leads to very interactive and engaging system where basically the holders of the governance token have a very high say and decision power in terms of which products are going to be rewarded in a given week. So that's, you could say, the governance utility of the DeFi token. The other utility of the DeFIRE token is the staking in the Senior Edge protocol Spark. And that works similar to any other Senior Edge protocol. You stake DeFIRE, and DeFIRE staked rewards you with Spark token. And the Spark token is the token that is pegged to that will be pegged to Matic. Um, Essentially, now to answer back to your question, how do we avoid that? How to avoid that? I mean, how to avoid the sell-off? Um, our way to avoid that is basically bringing utility to DeFi as soon as possible. So meaning after lunch, there will be not just the just simple staking in Senior but there will be also the governance utility. So actually the DeFi token will be will be giving people the possibility to claim fees and also to distribute rewards in the protocol. We might also introduce um, temporary additional utility to DeFi in this transition from, let's say, we have launched Spark, but we haven't launched Blaze yet, where all the governance utilities will be unlocked. So we'll probably be offering a temporary boost of utility to the DeFi holders in this transition period before we have launched Blaze. So basically, our answer to how we would try to prevent, that people will be dumping their token, is basically that the incentive to hold it will be will be significant, so people would not want to sell. And that is the entire message we're trying to present, the use case and utility of the DeFi and the vision, the long-term vision of the entire ecosystem. Of course, that cannot be. The sell-off and the people will sell. Obviously, people will sell, and then there is nothing wrong with that. That's also a way to how the token changes hands, but we will be promoting, marketing, advertising for this long-term use case of the DeFi and also the entire vision for the whole ecosystem. So, right, drop of GDFire or DeFire. I don't think I followed that question. Um, my concern is about a massive sell-off. Yes. Yeah. And which token? Is it DeFi you're concerned about, Mr. Cyan, or is it Spark token? Hmm? Hmm. All right, so yeah, now we're talking GDFire and DeFi. So the difference between the two. So the DeFi is the token that can be traded. It can be bought, it can be sold, it can be staked, it can be interacted with. Well, basically any moment, right? You can stake it, you can withdraw it, you can buy it, you can sell it. It is tradable and at any moment. To access the governance, you will need to take your DeFi and time lock it. So then there will be a feature on our platform which will let people lock their DeFi into the governance token, which has G DeFi name, so G for governance. So all the utilities that come with the governance token will be accessed through DeFIRE, so by time locking DeFIRE token. Now to the time lock. The time lock, it can be actually, so the DeFi token can be time locked from 1 week to up to 4 years. So the investor can choose how long the time lock is. But here, just to give an example, the number of your governance token will linearly depend on the time lock. So let's imagine you come with 100 DeFi tokens, so regular token, DeFi token, 100. You decide to lock it for 4 years. You receive 100 governance token in return. So you have then the voting governance power that equals to 100 governance tokens. If you decide to lock it for, well, let's say a year instead of 4, then you receive 25 DeFi tokens because that's a quarter of a maximum time lock. So the number of the governance token depend on the duration of the time lock. This way, it incentivizes or rewards people who want to commit their DeFi tokens into the governance tokens for a long time, because then they receive more governance tokens for their DeFi tokens. So and then sort of that this encourage investors with a sort of, you could say, short-term interest, because even if somebody would want to, for instance, impact the vote, and they only have an interest in doing that, so to meaningfully do that, they would have to buy significantly more of DeFi token, and only if they locked it for a week, they would still be in a very disadvantageous position compared to investors who have locked their DeFi token for a long time. So that is the mechanism there. If you drop DeFi, it's possible to sell it. So yeah, so once your DeFi is locked into the governance GDeFi token, it cannot be sold. It is not transferable. It stays with you. It is yours. It is assigned to your wallet, and it cannot be traded. It can then it will get unlocked once the time lock has finished that you have committed to in the first place. Yeah, so if you are asking if the governance token is, yeah, I mean, it will collect fees from all the protocols that the DeFi ecosystem will launch. So for now, there are 3 in the pipeline. There'll be more. There'll be more protocols, more ways to generate revenue into DeFi ecosystem, and all that will be shared between the the GDeFi, so the governance token holders, and also the DAO itself. This is how the rewards or the fees will be distributed. So part goes to the governance token holders and part goes to the DAO. Because well, DAO also needs some funds to operate and develop the project. So that's the idea behind it. So yeah, so basically, if the incentive to lock DeFi is high enough, then people cannot sell it at the same time. So it's either or. I mean, you either sell and you walk away from the project, or you want to participate in this revenue stream, the governance, and also in improving your rewards from Blaze protocol. Well, then you have to commit to the governance token, but then at the same time you cannot sell, right? So then there will be this sort of, well, dilemma that everybody will have to solve for itself. Permit G DeFi lock. Um, I'm not sure it will be any protocol. It probably will be a function in itself on our platform called governance, most likely. So um, the governance token is not tied to any protocol. It is, you could say, it sits above all the protocols. So, but that you could say it's the I'll have to confirm that question in details with our front end designers. I mean, how do they see this functionality to be implemented in the on the website? Yeah, that's what we are. So it will be available with the first protocol. Yes, that's the intention. Well, at least because we need to have the community voting on different proposals, and the community will be voting through the governance tokens. There will already be some fees generated in through Spark protocol, and that will be distributed to the governance token holders. The boosting of the rewards in Blaze, well, will not be available until Blaze is launched. So that functionality will not be. I mean, it will not be implemented yet, right, at the launch of Spark, but in general, yes, everybody will be able to lock their DeFIRE into the DeFIRE token, and now it will also sort of introduce interesting dynamics because if everybody is interested in selling DeFi or trading forthback, right? Because well, they would like to speculate on the price, but not on the utility. Well, then the investors who would lock their DeFi into GDeFi will be receiving all the fees. So if there are few investors that figure out, all right, actually, I would like to commit to the governance token, and if there, let's say if there's only one person doing that, I mean, then all the fees are going to go toward that one person. So then we have a second investor and third investor. They look at, but well, why should only this guy be receiving all the fees? We want to participate in that too. So then I think it will sort of create this domino effect where as soon as people realize that the governance token GDFire is a good way to provide yourself with a steady weekly revenue stream, yeah, then more people are going to join that, and people will be joining as long as um, yeah, great, great. I think yeah, I share the opinion. I'm also the sort of a person that enjoys having passive income, but yeah, so and then there will be more and more people who would be locking their DeFi into GDeFi up to the point where you could say the other utility for DeFi, let's say the senior edge staking, would probably provide you with better return than the fees that you would be getting from locking the DeFi, right? So probably people will be looking at both elements. Is it better to stake it, or is it better to lock it, or maybe split it, do part here and part there? I mean, I'm sure there will be different strategies that could be interesting to implement. Yeah, um, it is that. I understand. I understand the concern, but therefore we have the. I mean, I know that doesn't really solve, but I think it solves some issues. Um, the the pre-sale itself. I mean, normally the senior protocols they utilize Genesis pools. It's a way to the early. I mean, a way to distribute tokens in the early days of a protocol, um, and that we identify being not not fair, maybe not fair. I mean, it's fair because it basically gives you rewards corresponding to the capital you have invested, but it promotes it gives, of course, more rewards to the investors that bring more capital into the project. So we want to solve it with a pre-sale where the pre-sale would come with a cap on each investor, how much the investor can buy into with. So there'll be no single, at least at the start of the protocol, there'll be no single investor who would collect large portion of the token. So you could say everybody will be at more or less equal level, and then the pre-sale itself will uh, again pricing is very subjective and nobody can predict price of future price of DeFIRE considering its utility. And I don't think there is a token on the market that functions in a similar way to DeFIRE. I mean, yes, there are tokens that offer either one, I mean, one half of DeFIRE or the other half of DeFIRE, but there is no token that merges different utilities into one, as we are proposing. So it's really it's I would say it's impossible to predict the pricing, but the pre-sale price would again you're saying that it's no one can predict what the price is going to be once DeFi token is openly traded, but the pre-sale price will be attractive to the point where it's very likely that the investors, I mean, those in the pre-sale, will be satisfied with what is being offered. So, but again, it's the open market, so in the end, no one can really know. Um, one token per whitelist is a good solution. I hope it works. Well, um, yeah, again, I think what we did, if you read our announcement, it's we decided to go with this fixed dollar value cap, and then essentially you would be able to invest up to the cap, and then the question would be how much one DeFi will be worth. So that many DeFi tokens you will be able to buy. Up to, well, the limit is obviously 5% of the total supply of DeFi token, which is 5,000 tokens allocated to the pre-sale. So the pre-sale will run for as long as, well, either the time is up or all the supply is being sold, either or, right? So that's the pre-sale process that we also either you can read more about it in FAQ or in under our announcements if you would be interested to know details if you haven't already. But it seems that you, Mr. Sion, have studied our project quite a bit, so I'm sure you know all the tricks and details of the pre-sale and the whitelist process. Um, yeah, so I don't know if that sort of answers. Oh yeah, I can see you typing more. Excellent. I'm happy to. Oh yes, since day one. Yep, you are. You are the OG. So the 500 original members. Yep. Um, excellent. So can I answer some more questions then? Let's see, who do we have? DC Mr. Cyan. Do you have more you'd like to know? Uh, well, if you ask when pre-sale, well, that is always a tricky question. I tried to answer it. I think I answered it today under general chat, and I also answered it in under FAQ. Um, we will announce once we are 100% sure when it will take place, but it is within weeks. It's not, it's not months. It is weeks. So, okay. Can you tell me something about something other? Oh, yeah, that's a very broad question. If I can tell you something you don't know yet, well, yeah, that's what you don't know. Let me think what you don't know. Uh, Probably I would be able to tell something you don't know. I can see we have another person that joined the call. Tugs Art. Hi, Tugs Art. Um, you can either ask questions, directly raising your hand and jumping on the stage, or you can also write them under questions or general chat. Just ping me, and then I'll read the question if you would like. Um, yeah. So yeah, before we get a question from Tux Art, I can say something more about Blaze. Um, Blaze will be the central sort of piece of the entire ecosystem. Well, at least until at least in the sort of in the future, we can sort of predict. We never know what great ideas there might be around the corner for new protocols, new products. But at least for now, Blaze is the central piece. So it will be offering containers. Containers are will be like baskets that would contain different assets inside, and those assets are going to give exposure to different tokens that are inside those containers, and also are going to generate yield from deploying those assets in the containers in different investing opportunities in the DeFi space, right? So there will be this double utility of containers, both getting the market exposure on the multiple assets that will be available in containers, and also to collect yield from those assets. Um, what we want to also implement under Blaze is the peer-to-peer asset container creation. So investors will be able to create their own containers. Um, they will all come with different parameters. So each container that the investor creates will have risk parameters, volatility, well, expected or past performance indicators or parameters, and so on and so forth. Um, Probably at the beginning, no one is going to be interested but the investor itself, himself or herself, to use that container, because that container and that investor needs to build credibility. And a way to build the credibility, there'll be the gamification sort of element introduced to Blaze, where the containers will be gaining experience, will be ranking up depending on the capital invested, on the performance, probably also the risk parameters, volatility. So there'll be many different elements that would come into this ranking system, and then the containers will be sort of competing with each other. Those user created containers will be competing with each other. And probably we will be then incentivizing the leading containers with additional yield from in those containers. Obviously, the yield would be only coming in the native tokens of the DeFIRE from the DeFIRE ecosystem, because this is something the ecosystem controls. We don't control the base yield that for instance, stable coins offer, because that is sort of given by other protocols. But so there will be also this element that will be implemented in Blaze. I don't think it will be ready when we launch, because it requires a little bit more of engineering works to be able to implement that gamification and user created containers. But that's something we want to also offer. So I don't know if that was something you didn't know about. Mr. Cyan. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I also think it's interesting. Took's art. Yeah, we're trying to do interesting stuff. No problem, no problem. Let me think if I can surprise you with something else. Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk so much about Ignite yet because Ignite is the third protocol in the pipeline. So for now, I mean, the engineering works are focused around Spark and Blaze. Um, but Ignite, yeah, will be the protocol that would offer those self-repaying loans. The way it is going to work, you would be able to take, let's say, the container that you have accessed through Blaze. Though every container will be generating some yield, so you take a container. Let's say it's a stablecoin container, just to keep it simple. Um, that container then can be used as collateral in Ignite protocol to borrow, well, stablecoins. Um, let's say you bring a Blaze container worth 1,000 US dollars. You borrow 500 US dollars, and now the smart contract behind the Ignite protocol is going to be receiving the yield that the Blaze container would be generating, that is generating. But instead of you receiving that yield goes towards repaying your $500 loan. So here you work with basically time variable. The higher the yield the Blaze container is going to make, the shorter will be the time it takes to repay the loan. So that is sort of how, in short, Ignite is going to work. Okay, so Mr. Cyan is typing more. Excellent. Anybody else? Some more questions? DC and Tux Art. Happy to answer a few more if you have. Excellent. More people typing. That's what we need. Right. Yeah. Okay. Is a roadmap for this 4 years? If I look directly, yep. So the roadmap we have detailed, specified is for 2022. And I'm not going to pretend to sort of to tell you, yes, we have a roadmap for 4 years. I mean, 4 years is long, sufficiently long in the blockchain space that we could there could be, in half a year there could be new developments, and we would be pursuing that new blockchain development. There could be a new blockchain introduced that opens up new possibilities of how DeFi looks like. We would maybe then want to pursue that too. Again, that would all those key decisions. I mean, the direction which we would go, left, right, develop here, develop there, beyond the three protocols that you can see in our pipeline at the moment, and this on-ramp for off-chain investors. Everything else, it would be subjected to the community DAO vote. And so, yeah, so if I can tell you, yeah, if do we have a roadmap for 4 years? No, we don't, and I don't think there is any project in blockchain that can tell that yes, we have a roadmap for 4 years because it's so unforeseen, unpredictable that that it would be impossible. I mean, we could plan, but those plans would be revised 20 times before we reached this 5 years. Um, right. There was a question too about containers as NFT system. Is something you're thinking of to boosting yield? Yeah, it could be. I mean, we are also thinking of NFTs, not in terms of like uh, selling them, but engaging with some artists that could create a nice collection of NFTs that could be shared um, with most likely with the holders of our governance token because we probably want to promote those most. So I'm sure there'll be some NFT distribution throughout the lifetime of the project. Um, we always we're discussing with different designers, and we have different also ideas. We actually also have a collection of art available to be used in NFT, but it's not something we are sort of implementing yet. First, we uh, want to do the pre-sale, launch, and then we'll be thinking of some extra nice stuff, which is NFTs. Yeah, how secure we feel as investors scale from 1 to 10, and also why. As you know, there are many rock these days. Yep, sure. All right, no problem. I'll be happy to answer that question. Um, I believe so. First, I will, if you haven't yet, I think in our Medium article, Build DeFIRE, we discuss briefly what we as a team want to do to sort of enhance investors' trust. I mean, if I had to say, yeah, from 1 to 10, how investors should feel, I mean, how they could feel, I would say 10 because I would never ever, and nobody from the team that we have today would ever steal, rug, or scam any single investor. If we fail and we admit that we have failed with whatever implementing project, the only thing that it will happen, we'll refund everybody and then we'll close the project. I mean, I can't even think of be doing anything else than that. I've been part I was rugged myself. I was also close to being rugged through Grim finance protocol. Luckily, where my funds were or funds of other investors that were using I think it was T-share liquidity or the T-share staking feature. That was the only asset that wasn't stolen from Grim Finance at that time. So you could say, oh, there I was lucky not to be exposed to not a rug but exploit because it was external exploit. But yeah, but back to the features. What we want to do as a team to reassure or assure the investors, well, beyond our words. Um, well, first in the team, and that was, you could say, once those three people that are the team lead at the moment, and we started working together late November. So one of the first things we did, we doxed. We introduced or we presented all our personal information to each other. We were on a face call where we showed our faces next to our passports. We know where we live, although we are from three different parts of the world. I mean, we didn't have previous ties or connections, but we sort of happened to be involved in one DeFi project at the same time, and this is how we sort of started working together. So we all in the team know who we are, and we have full trust to each other. Then, to sort of demonstrate the same trust towards the investors, we are going to perform an external KYC with a provider that will collect personal information of one of the three team leaders. Why one? Why not three? Because well, we think well if they have information of one and that person holds information of the other two, that is sufficient essentially. So there will be that element. So that provider, that KYC provider, will hold the personal information of one of the team leads. Well, anything goes wrong, and there is any you could say uh, court order saying, all right, those guys scammed and rocked the entire project. Well, that information will be released to municipalities or law enforcement to basically take it from there. The other element, we will then employ the multi-signature access to the treasury wallet. So all the money that will be collected through pre-sale or anything that comes into the DeFi treasury will have to be accessed through a multi-signature wallet. And what it means is that, well, multiple people have to sign off a single transaction. So obviously the team leads, and the more teams we build, the more team leads join the project, they will also be receiving access to the multi signature. But for the time being, it's free. So in order to execute a transaction from the treasury, there will have to be two signatures out of three multi-sig holders internal to the project. You could say those that are you could say executing the daily operations. And on the top of that, to confirm that the transactions that you could say the team is executing is in line with the plan and in line with the proposed budget. There will be extra multi-sig holders, and here we are proposing to start with two, probably community members that will be elected in some way by the community. We would then ask one out of these two will have to confirm or oversee and confirm that the transaction that the team is proposing is in line with whatever the plan is being agreed upon. So that is in terms of transacting funds from the treasury. Uh, Another element will be audit of the smart contract. There will be an audit of the smart contract. We are discussing now with the smart contract auditor provider in terms of when, how, and under which terms. So that's also something we have in a pipeline. So you could say, yeah, those three elements we want to have in place relatively soon to to show the investors that well, we are serious about trust and security. All right, system is good. What about? Well, thanks, Doug's art. Thanks a lot. Well, okay. Ah, super bullish. Excellent. Okay. Okay. I go back to just to wrap up. Okay. DC. You had a. I think there's no way you could stop people from dumping. Yep. It can only be controlled or reduced. Yes. Agree. Every investor wants to make profit, and you can't tell people what to do with the tokens. Yep, exactly. So people will do what they feel is right for the basically circumstances they are in. I also think that's why we build communities. Yep, DeFIRE is more like a DAO with governance token. If you're a holder, you're integral part of the project. Absolutely. That's if everybody sees sees this, if everybody sees that they are part of the community and they have a share of that community and the project by holding the governance token, I mean, then the project cannot fail. Then the question is how this message can be communicated to, I wouldn't say everybody, but majority of the investors, so everybody sort of works towards the same direction, right? That's the question. Keeps building, delivering on the product. I think the investors should be encouraged to support. Yeah, indeed. Okay, Mr. Cyan, you had a question. System is good, no worry about that. Incentives of the product seems to be perfect. Yeah, again, it's the same. It's about communication. It's about conveying the message. It's about sharing the vision and showing what is the potential of the DeFIRE token or the governance token, but also, I mean, offering possibilities to utilize the token because obviously people will perhaps hold the token based on a promise, but that promise need to be quickly realized so people can see, all right, now I can use my token, right? So I mean, the transition from a promise to the actual utility needs to happen very quickly. And DC, I understand I've been a victim of this too many. Yeah, what will make the difference is the community, not the team. And I absolutely agree. The team, I mean, the team essentially, the team will come from the community. That's the process. People start with being helpful, being active on Discord. Then they raise their hand. Oh, I would like to maybe help with this or that. What about this? What about that? And then that way, people sort of get into sort of helping the team on a more frequent basis, and then gradually they transit into becoming, a team member and then contributing on a more frequent basis. So yeah, definitely. The goal that we should be getting everyone here to understand. Yes, absolutely. And this is where the marketing effort is. I mean, to convey as, I mean, I cannot highlight it enough. The message should be, this long-term focus, not focus on quick gains and 1 million APY per 1 million% APYs. I mean, this is not the project we are building. We are building a project that, I mean, that supports, the 20% stable return on your investment is also great. On top of that, you're part of the ecosystem by holding the GED fire. I mean, there is also, and there are many investors who are, I mean, I wouldn't say risk averse, but who whose the primary target is to protect their capital against losses. And once you have this element, then you should start thinking about, okay, profits, right? So this is how personally I approach investing. For me, first, protect my capital, not lose what I have today, and then gradually build profit on that. So that's how my portfolio is built. So yeah, just a small personal trip here. Oh wow, you answered all doubts clearly. Well, excellent. I'm happy that I could be of help here. I'm bullish here too. I share your vision. Excellent. Well, it's time to fly. Yeah. Yep, it is. It is. So, guys, I think, yeah, well, 1 hour really passed very fast. But yeah, if I could encourage you to, well, if you feel like, helping, we have a way you could, well, raise your hand, say, look, I could help with this, I could help with that. There are still many aspects of the project that need support. And if you could offer your skills, your help, if you have time, feel free to use. I think there is a volunteering somewhere under our Discord. Sorry, I'm not that well, although I use Discord, but I'm far from being perfect in using it. So therefore I couldn't maybe share my screen today. But yeah, where absolutely, I mean, where the team could use, or the current team, or the project could use help, is it's always, creating content, writing more stuff. Even it could be short announcements. It could be some infographics. It could be some memes that would show the message, convey the message we try to convey. It could be writing longer articles. It could be also helping building processes for the DAO, how the DAO could operate from early days. There is also room for that. I mean, ultimately, there is room to help almost in any aspect of the project. So feel free to raise your hand if you like. I mean, yeah, drop me a message or use the volunteering channel. I think we have one. There is also like a tele application form if you would like to use that. Yeah, there are many ways to sort of to offer your help. So um, yeah, well, if then I would say, well, thanks a lot for your time. With great questions. I was happy to answer. I'm glad that I could be of help. I hope I managed to sort of, yeah, answer them as you maybe were hoping for. I have recorded the session, so you or everybody else who didn't participate would be able to listen to what we discussed here. Yeah, and then I would say, well, have a great day, and again, thanks for stopping by. Take care, everybody.